In the headlines, 9 dead, 150 missing as rescue efforts continue after Niger State boat tragedy. Edo PDP supporters protest at INEC office, demand reversal of election results. Lagos residents relocating to suburban areas as landlords increase rents. On the foreign scene, Middle East on edge as Iran, Israel vow new attacks. Good evening and welcome to the news update on Trust TV. I am Aisha Salihu. The news in detail. We'll begin with the sad development in Niger State, where 9 corpses, 2 females and 7 men have been recovered, while no fewer than 150 Maulud celebrants are still missing when a boat with 300 people on board capsized at Bajibo in Mokwa local government area of Niger State. The victims, mostly women and children, took off from Mundi community to Bajibo for Maulud celebration when the boat capsized midway. Local sources who spoke on the incident said local divers swung into rescue operations, saying that some people were not rescued alive but could not give their numbers. Reports said the mishap happened between Maghrib and Isha prayers. The Director General, Niger State Emergency Management Agency, Alhaji Abdullahi Baba'ara, confirmed the mishap, adding that 9 dead bodies have so far been recovered. They said the mishap occurred on Tuesday night around 8 p.m. on Tuesday. Ara said over 150 persons have been rescued alive, saying that such a rescue operation is still ongoing to locate more survivors. Over 300 communities have been flooded and an estimated 5 million locals sacked from their homes in Mokwa local government area of Niger State. Reports say women and children are now taking shelter in schools that have now been converted into internally displaced persons camp, where they are also faced with acute water shortages. Although schools are currently in session in Niger State, children in the state will have to miss classes for several weeks and in the worst case a month, losing valuable learning time. Several farmlands have been washed away, putting farmers at a loss and raising concerns for Nigeria's food security. The council chairman, Mokwa local government area of Niger State, Abdullahi Muragi, said although life was not lost, properties and farmlands have been submerged. He called for help, saying that the situation had overwhelmed the local government. As Nigerian markets continue to welcome over hundreds of metric tons of assorted grains from local farmers across parts of Bauchi State, residents are having a sigh of relief while customers are praying for stability of price in the weeks ahead. They stated this during a visit by Trust TV's Adamu Imam to Durham Weekly Market along the Bauchi-Ningi Kano to examine the extent to which prices of grains have dropped after this year's harvest. The report.
The number of people who patronize the local market has increased as fresh produce from this year's harvest hit the markets. Residents could not hide their happiness with the price drop and after experiencing the surging prices of staple food items in the last months. We thank God for witnessing another bumper harvest because business activities at the grain market are now at their peak and prices have come down unlike in the last few months. We are very excited about this development and we pray that God sees us through this hardship. Before we used to buy a measure of grain at 2,800 naira, but now it has dropped to 2,000 and we are very happy about it because food items are affordable for the common man. We hope the price will remain the same or even going down a little more. Responding to issues around the hike in price of grains, rice and other food items, dealers blame the hike on the unpredictability in relation to fuel prices hikes. Right now, people appreciate the fact that prices are dropping. However, for people to insinuate that we are responsible for the hike in price is not only untrue, but unfair to us. Prices in the market vary from time to time, and we only sell depending on how much we buy. Yes, the price of rice is coming down gradually. Before we sold 1 measure at 2,800 or 2,900, but now it's 2,000 naira only. Honestly, if the price goes up, we make a more profit, but when they drop, people buy more. So if the price is high, people hardly patronize us, but now sales have jacked up. However, President Tinubu, in his nationwide broadcast marking the 64th independent anniversary, appealed to Nigerians to exercise patience as plans are underway to address the economic hardship in the country. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Suspected herdsmen on Tuesday killed 2 soldiers and 7 villagers, including the village head of Eguma village in the Agatu local government area of Benue State. A former lawmaker who represented the local government at the Benue State House of Assembly, Audu Sule, said the suspended herdsmen came into Eguma village at 3 p.m. and started killing people. According to Sule, military personnel who are stationed at his village in Ogwole, a few meters away, responded to the distress call from Eguma village, but 2 of the soldiers were killed by the suspected herdsmen, along with Eguma village head and 6 others, bringing the casualty figures to 9. Sule noted that the attack was the 4th on Eguma and Ogwole villages of Agasu local government area in the last month, lamenting the security threats his people face daily. Benue State Police Command is yet to respond to the incident. Some members of the People's Democratic Party in Edo State on Wednesday staged a protest at the office of the Independent National Electoral Commission in Benin City, the state capital. The party supporters, who wielded placards, called on the electoral umpire to reverse the results of the September 21, 2024 governorship election, announced a day after the poll in the state. The protesters insisted that PDP candidate Asue Igodalo won the election and not Monday Okpebolo of the All Progressives Congress. INEC had declared Okpebolo the winner of the poll. The APC candidate, 54, secured 291,667 votes to defeat Igodalo, who got 247,274 votes, and Olumide Akpata of the Labour Party, who came a distant third in the race with 22,763 votes. But Igodalo and Akpata faulted the election, alleging vote buying by the APC, an allegation the winning party has denied. Igodalo has vowed to challenge the outcome of the poll. The Nasarawa State Independent Electoral Commission says it has concluded arrangements to conduct local government election across 13 local government areas on Saturday, November 2nd, 2024. The chairman of the commission, Ayuba Wandai Usman, while addressing journalists on Wednesday in Lafia, reiterated the commission's commitment to continue partnering the media in their collective efforts to further entrench the democratic culture in the state and the country at large. Trust TV had reported that the commission conducted the last local government council's election on Wednesday, October 6, 2021, while the present local government council's officials were sworn in and inaugurated on Friday, October 8, 2021, for a tenure of 3 years, which will end on Monday, 7th October 2024. Ahead of the poll, The Commission says campaigns by political parties will commence on Friday, 18th October 2024, noting that the publication of final list of nomination candidates is slated for Tuesday, 29th October 2024.
Having had our day in court by emerging victorious, the court dismissed the suit and upheld all our contentions. The plaintiffs, being dissatisfied with the judgment, filed a notice of appeal at the Court of Appeal Makurdi, but have suddenly filed a notice of withdrawal, discontinuance of notice of appeal on Thursday, 26 September 2024, thus clearing the way for the conduct of the 2024 local government councils elections. At this juncture, let me seize the opportunity to call on the good people of Nasarawa State to support the Commission in the discharge of its statutory mandate by coming out en masse to participate in this all-important exercise and to conduct themselves lawfully, responsibly, and orderly.
Despite its proximity to the Kaduna city, the people of Mashigi at Hayin Kogi in Gabi local government area of Kaduna State still rely on local canoes as a means of transportation to the metropolis. This form of transportation has become a source of livelihood to the residents as they use it to convey their agricultural produce to the city. Trustee Bello Musa visited the community along the river Kaduna and completes the story.
Defying the risk involved in water travel, residents here have to cross the river to get to the city in search of their daily needs.
I normally buy 5 to 6 from town and across the river, sometimes at about 10 p.m. because of the fastest means of transportation. Pregnant women suffer a lot while we are taking them to hospitals during labor. We need to have a bridge.
Our wives suffer a lot during labor due to the lack of bridge. As a matter of fact, many pregnant women deliver here at the riverbank before reaching the hospital. This is the fastest way to our community. Mandiria Haya is the chairman of the Canoe Peddlers Association. He tells Trust TV what it means to be a peddler and other issues in the trade. They normally carry pregnant women on motorcycles to the riverbank for onward movement to the hospital. To save their lives, we would organize 2 to 3 peddlers for an emergency ride to convey them to the riverbank so that they will use motorcycles to take them to hospital in the metropolis. The fear of drowning denies most girls in the community the opportunity of going to school in Kaduna metropolis. As a result, most of the girls here have resorted to attending a school organized by volunteer teachers in the community.
I completed my primary school 21 years ago. I could not further my education because we don't have secondary school, and crossing the river is very scary as people usually drown because of overloading. Sometimes we don't blame the canoe operators for overloading because since they don't collect money from us as students, they will make us that number by carrying others, leading to overloading which has caused many to drown.
Although we are still expecting a bridge to be constructed, we are, however, appealing for modern canoes because we have more students that we convey for free. The community produces variety of agricultural produce that are transported to the Kaduna metropolis on a regular basis. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Despite the ongoing economic challenges in the country, landlords in Lagos State have significantly raised the cost of house rents, subjecting residents to further hardship in the state. As a result, tenants who are unable to afford the new rates are now relocating to more affordable suburban areas in the state. Victoria Tokolo's report is presented from our studio.
The economic hardship in the country has forced many Nigerians to struggle harder to make ends meet for themselves and their families. To make up for the surge in prices of goods and services, many landlords have significantly increased their house rents, especially those who are pensioners that rely solely on their rental properties as their primary source of income. In Lagos State, majority of property owners are elderly, retired individuals who depend on their rental properties for financial support. However, with a steep increase in house rent, many tenants have been compelled to relocate from their preferred areas to more affordable suburban locations.
I was telling somebody recently, as one of our tenants, they just increased his rent maybe by 40%. And he said, it's too much. I said, Oga, I say, you know this economy. It's like you are not in this economy at all. If you are in this economy, you know what is going on. Things are times 3, times 4. Even common biscuit that children are taking to school. You go and see how they do them now, rather than the way it is before. It is general. It is not on one side. So what I'm saying is, let me take your 160 that you are giving me to that filling station. Would they sell fuel to me? No. So if you can understand that, you know that. So at times we beckon on all those people that are giving us money before, say, please come. This is called for an understanding. We are not saying we should kill us. No, worst case scenario, you take me to court. We get to the court. When we get to the court, the only thing they will tell me is that, okay, what happened? Judge will ask you what happened. And you explain to the judge that this is what I collected, but this is not my fault. You understand? We have a case of force majeure. But apart from normal force majeure, it's beyond me, it's beyond you. Yes, I collected money and I say I'm going to do that. But this is the position of things now. What am I going to do? Worst case scenario, collect your money with interest. If you don't want the property again, we give you your money and the interest. I will say, let us sell at open market now.
Also, many tenants believe that the rise in rent across various parts of the state is being driven by house agents and caretakers, who they believe allegedly encourage landlords to increase rent in order to earn higher percentages. But real estate agents and caretakers, however, clarify that house rent increase are solely the decision of landlords and are largely influenced by the country's economic situation. For instance, the rent for a single room, which was previously 6,000 naira, has now increased to 10,000 naira. They also said many landlords have failed to adhere to the government's established rules and regulations regarding housing matters in the state.
We ask on the instruction of the landlord. Is the landlord increasing house? They increase their house because of what is happened in this country. Petrol is gone. That is what even scatter everything. That is the issue. Make the increment happen. If our president doesn't say petrol is gone, nothing will change. You can still be managed 6,000 naira on house rent, 5,000 naira on another way round. But as far as our president has said petrol is gone, everything has changed. When we want to do something, they recognize, they call us to have many meetings. But that meetings, even those who are real parties, those who are really increasing the rent, they are not part of the meeting. Those who are increasing, they are just the quack. They just tell the landlord, okay, it's from 10,000 to 20,000, from 20,000 to 30,000, from 30,000, 1 million. You have even a house, 2-bedroom flats here. They are talking of saying 1.5, 1.2.
To address the current rise in house rents in the state, agents and caretakers called on the Lagos state government to place a task force to monitor landlords in each local government area of the state, as according to them, some landlords in the state have taken advantage of the country's economic situation to increase the cost of house rent to unreasonable amounts.
You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Coming up ahead. Zoos and parks struggle amid low patronage and declining revenue. More news when return. Just stay with us.
This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back and thanks for joining us again. Let's have another look at some of our top stories. We told you that 9 dead, 150 missing as rescue efforts continue after Niger State boat mishap. Edo PDP supporters protested INEC office demand reversal of election results. And to more stories. Wildlife conservation isn't just about saving animals. It plays a crucial role in sustaining Nigeria's biodiversity, boosting ecotourism, and creating jobs. Now, the sector faces an uncertain future. With the ongoing economic downturn, zoos, game reserves, and parks across the country are struggling to stay in business. In this report, Trust TV's Noel Sampson visits the National Children's Park and Zoo in Abuja to explore how the facility is coping under the harsh economic realities. Take a look.
A visit to the National Children's Park and Zoo Abuja opens ones to a calmer, serene atmosphere with different animals and relaxation spaces. The zoo has about 40 animals of different species, including lions, crocodiles, monkeys, snakes, buffaloes, and ostriches, among others. The manager of the park and zoo took us through how they have been coping with the present economic situation in terms of feeding, taking care of the health of the animals, and also staff welfare.
Because animals in zoos are normally treated on quarterly basis, and there are other things which will keep your animal healthy. So which means an animal which is supposed to eat meat has to be fed on meat. Like the lions, the hyenas, and the crocodiles we have, we feed them on meat. A cow now, ordinarily before we used to buy for 300 naira. 300,000 naira is now going for 500,000. Even the perishable items. So we are finding very, very difficult. It is affecting us very, very hard because when you go to market, you don't know. You may not even predict until when you get to the market.
He also used the opportunity to call for government intervention in providing animals and other logistics needed to keep the park and zoo running.
When you bring more animals, you will have more people coming. And when we have more people coming, then we can be able to, achieve our objective of educating. Even going to the level of putting an educational research center, very big hall without visual, so that we can really run an educational activity where even people up there going around the zoo, they can be seated and we can be having a kind of formal lesson on different aspects of environment.
Because we don't have any revenue or subvention from the government, the only additional assistance we have here sometimes is people do donate maybe like few animals to us, or they provide us some stuff to feed the animals.
Some zoo visitors who came to the park and zoo to relax spoke on the importance of the place and justified calls for its sustenance.
The government should put in more funds in the park and zoo. We need more manpower, more people working in the zoo, making the zoo more conducive for the animals, making it more interesting for even the visitors, the tourists coming to see the animals and stuff.
Especially on weekends like Saturday, Sundays, have a lot of people trooping in here because they all want that calm, serene environment on sun. So this has been I've been coming here for the past 5 years, I think. So it's mostly just the same thing over and over again. But I don't come here to see anything new. I come here because this helps me cool off, just like I mentioned in your previous question, it just helps me so paint or something. And then for the lake, I see some changes at the lake there because there's now boats there. Boats were not previously available.
The management of the National Children's Park and Zoo in Abuja is set to implement a 100% hike in gate fees for 500 naira to 1,000 naira for adults and 500 naira for children from previous 300 naira charge. Citing the rising cost of maintaining the facility, they hope the increase will boost revenue to keep the park operational. Zoological parks play a vital role in educating the public about biodiversity and promoting peaceful coexistence between humans and wildlife. However, with the financial strain, sustaining this mission has become a bigger challenge. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The federal government has advised Nigerians to leave Lebanon following the attacks on Hezbollah and other areas in Lebanon by the Israeli government. The Nigerians in Diaspora Commission gave this advice on Wednesday in a statement signed by its spokesman, Abdul Rahman Balogun. It said although information from the Nigerian community in Lebanon indicated that most Nigerians have relocated from the southern part and are now relatively safe, NIDCOM advised them to keep safe until the ceasefire is in place. The government expressed relief that no Nigerian had witnessed any form of accident or injury, advising them to continue to remain safe while the war lasts. Israeli airstrikes in Lebanon have intensified in the past weeks, targeting Hezbollah positions in Beirut and southern Lebanon. The conflict has resulted in over 600 deaths, including Hezbollah's longtime leader Hassan Nasrallah, and displaced hundreds of thousands. And to developments away from Nigeria, Iran's Armed Forces Chief of Staff says his country was prepared to repeat its attacks if Israel is not contained by the US and Europe. Iran launched at least 180 missiles into Israel, the latest in a series of escalating attacks in a years-long conflict between Israel and Iran and its Arab allies. Israel vowed retaliation for Iran's barrage, which said had caused only a few injuries. In Lebanon, explosions were heard, with fire and smoke visible along the Beirut skyline on Wednesday morning in what the Israeli military claimed was a strike on Hezbollah targets earlier. Residents in some areas of the southern suburbs of the Lebanese capital were warned to evacuate their homes.
The Revolutionary Guard and Iran's armed forces are ready both defensively and offensively to repeat this operation with multiplied intensity. If the Zionist regime, which has gone insane, is not contained by America and Europe and intends to continue such crimes or do anything against our sovereignty or territorial integrity, the operation will be repeated with much higher magnitude and we will hit all their infrastructure.
And finally in sports, Wilfred Ndidi has been included in the Premier League Team of the Month for September. The Team of the Month was compiled by WhoScored.com and posted on their X handle. Ndidi and James Justin are the only Leicester City players who made the cut. Other top stars who made the list are Cole Palmer, Bukayo Saka, Virgil van Dijk, Luis Diaz and Gabriel Magalhaes. Ndidi was very impressive for the Foxes as he made 3 assists in 3 Premier League games. He provided the 2 assists in Leicester 2-2 draw away to Crystal Palace. The Super Eagles star then provided the assist for Leicester's equalizer in their 4-2 defeat to Arsenal last weekend. And on that note, we've come to the end of the news update on Trust TV at this hour. Remember, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs and documentary. I'm Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for watching.